The journey began a while back, but Lloyd Companies was officially established in 1972. Today, we are celebrating 40 years in business because of what sets us apart, our philosophies and values, put in place from day one by Pat and Craig.
They first and foremost value family. They value their employees and their employees' families and their friends. They place all the right value on the right things, our community, their commitment to philanthropy, and their commitment to the growth of the company.
When I decided to leave Augustana, I knew I wanted to go to work for a place that really valued community and altruism. I knew Craig and Pat's reputation and was hoping that Lloyd Companies would be the right spot. In the 5 years that I've been here, I found that what the community sees and the reputation they have in the community represents only a fraction of the good deeds this family really does.
They've come up with a way to have people trust them and want to work hard for them.
3 values come to mind: community, family, and loyalty. The community, just not the relationships they've built, but the nonprofits they've helped over the years, the vendor and subcontractor relationships, the amount of payrolls they're truly responsible for in this town can be quite mind-boggling. Family, they treat all their employees like family, which creates loyalty. And anybody who would continue to employ Al Stone for this many years definitely has a lot of loyalty.
Well, we moved here in '72. We started managing low-income apartments out on Meadowland Apartments on Marion Road, which was the edge of town. There was nothing to the west of that. And Pat and I took over management. As everybody knows, I've never been good at paperwork. So I taught Pat how to do the HUD paperwork, and I would go show apartments, and I would do some cleaning, and I would mow the lawn and do those things. And I think we got the 120 units. We moved in June. I think they're all rented in August. And Pat said, now what are we going to do? I laughed and I says, well, wait till tomorrow, we'll get a vacancy notice. And we did. And she kept on managing that. And then I decided I want to build a house. I never built a house before, but I thought it can't be that tough. I mean, we even laid block, and we poured some concrete, and we framed the house, we shingled it, we finished it. Not very good finish work, I will admit. Then I built a house across the street and on spec, and I did the same thing over there, and I sold it for $28,500, and I made $10,000, and I was making $8,200 a year working full-time managing the apartments. That was Pat's and my both salary. And so I thought, hey, this is not bad. You work part-time, make about 10 grand, go do it again. About the 5th house, my uncle found out I was building houses on the side, and he wanted to become a partner. And that's when I learned the difference between 51 and 49% on a partnership. He gave me a lot of opportunities to build and make mistakes and do stupid things.
Ask for forgiveness, not permission.
The good news is he allowed me to do it. The bad news is he gave me no instructions, and never knew why, but he allowed me to make a lot of mistakes. And you know, we made some money. 1979 came along, and we went from an interest rate of 6% in January of that year, or June of that year, to 18% by November of that year, and by June the next year is 22% interest. And I had proceeded to build 17 spec townhouses. We were making the interest payments, but we were always at the end of the month trying to get cash flow to come in.
And I think their creativity and intuition and knowledge and commitment are some of their strong core values. They're able to see the big picture, but also manage the details.
My competitor was getting 10.5% interest from the same bank I was paying 22% interest for. And so I went down to him and I said, I want the same thing. And he says, no, you can't do it because you still got money left. So I gave him all the keys, I put them on his desk. He understood then that we were going to give them all back to him if he didn't give me 10.5% interest. Got lucky enough to build what we call today Beetle Plaza, and we built Beetle Plaza, believe it or not, in 120 days from the time we started to the time we finished, because we could get a great big bonus from the government of everything we saved on the project. We could get 50% on, and we only made 2 draws on the whole project, and we saved over $100 and some thousand, which in 1983 or 82 was a lot of money. And then they didn't want to give us the money, and that took a while, but we got that done. Then we started getting into bonding, because there was no place to sleep, or when people would come to town, Citibank was trying to hire people. People were actually waiting in the parking lot for 2 to 3 days, sleeping in their car. Well, the people were trying to move out of our apartments, and then we had turned them in 24 hours. And the state of South Dakota and ourselves came up with a new financing program to get some multifamily housing. That's how we built Springbrooks, and that's how we built Beetle West underneath that program.
That might be their biggest investment they have, is an office building they own, or home they own, and they're looking for that to take that investment and do what they want with retirement, or help out their children, or we take that very serious, that they've entrusted us with their investment. And I know that I want to make sure that I'm doing what I can to maintain the value of their asset, improve the value of the asset, and manage it and lease it up so they get the highest return out of it.
I still think it's a good model to have all different divisions and have every division participate in the growth of the company, because it allows us to, at least in my mind, survive the last recession. You look at what we did last year compared to some of our competitors. I'm just talking general contract competitors. Most of those guys were not too busy last year. We ended up being real good. I think it just goes back to the idea that we're constantly looking outside that box and trying to find a new way to do things. So.
The one thing that Pat and Craig have certainly instilled in us as a couple and made an impact on me as an individual is their incredible philanthropic attitude towards the community of Sioux Falls. And it's permeated everything that Raquel and I now participate in, and it's important. We've learned how important it is to give back to the community, and we think it's vitally important enough that we want to pass that on to our children and to others around us. So from my perspective, that's probably the most important thing.
If I had to describe Pat and Craig in one word, that word would be caring. Because when you care, you also have faith, love, compassion, and generosity. And not only do they show that with their family, but it extends to the employees and throughout the whole community.
Over the years, we've done so many fun things together, going to the VA, our parade, so many things, and I'm so proud to work for a company that gives back to the community like they do.
To me, there's a whole new beginning. You got the next generation that's going to be coming in to be more active in the business and be more into management and ownership roles. You got the next generation of managers, product. I mean, we're trying to upgrade our inventory all the time to have better product, better designs, better marketing, all the other things that you can do.
Another value that we get on a daily basis from Pat and Craig is having the ability to walk into a meeting or walk up to a prospective tenant or a client and say we're with the Lloyd Companies. When you say that, it carries a weight of significance. They know that the company's been in business for a long time. There's a level of trust there that things will happen and we can get the job done, and also a sense of commitment from the company, and it's just makes a statement when we're able to walk into a room and say we're with the Lloyd Companies.
I never dreamt, hell, 20 years, that we'd ever be doing something like CNA or building like a project like Donegal or Innovation or strip malls and doing things like that. Never dreamt it. I guess I'm not very good at quitting. I'm not very good at stopping to find solutions, because I think there's a solution to every problem. Surrounding myself with great people. Having a wife and kids that stuck with me. So if you really put it in perspective, is if you want to be with a company that's looking into the next 40 years, at least in my mind, we're positioning ourselves to go forward for 40 years. My vision, if you can dream it, we can figure out how to do it.
Lloyd Companies, looking out for you.
No, I'm not retired.